So we got a couple of Razor bikes, and they're super cool. But one thing they don't have is a reliable way to check the battery voltage. When you're looking at the bike, you have the on and off switch, so if we power it on, you'll see that it's 36 volts and it's full. And then low just shows up essentially when it's too low. So what we want to do is we want to put this little voltmeter on it. Got a little voltmeter off eBay. I'll link it in the description. When we turn this on now we get a readout of what the battery looks like. First, we need to do this. We're going to take off 5 bolts. Bolt 1, bolt 2. On the other side, there's bolt 3. And then on the rear, there's 2 bolts underneath here. Bolt 4 and 5. Okay, we've got all the bolts out. And we pop them off. And then there's going to be, right in here, there's going to be these little plastic tabs. We're just going to pull them out. They're just stuck in there. You just pull them out. It's just a plastic piece. It's not even a tab. So there's nothing that needs to clip or anything. It's just literally a plastic piece that just inserts into a hole right here. Alrighty, now that we got that off, we could clean the bike, but we're not going to. Just going to turn it off, and then we have 5 bolts. There's one here, one down here, one underneath on the bottom, and then 2 right up here. All the same as these bolts that we pulled out, and we're going to take those off, and then we're going to take off the cover that has the electronics on it. Alright, so we got all the screws out, and I really like how Razor keeps everything really simple and really easy, really basic, so you can mod things. So you're just going to pull this away. It's going to be attached. There's 3 connections we're unplugging. So there's this connection. This is coming from the battery to here. We're going to disconnect that connection. There's this connection, which is the charge wire. So we're going to unclip the charge wire. And then we have one more wire right here. This is the wire we're going to be modifying. So see how this wire has that 3rd wire right there? So coming out this side, we have the positive that's going through the switch, and we have the negative that's coming from the battery. This is what we're going to modify right here. We're going to disconnect these, and then we'll get on the bench. Okay, so we got it on the bench. We've got our connections here. Again, this is the connector that goes to the controller, and then we're using those 2 pieces. We're not connecting it on the battery terminal side, so we're not using the battery positive and negative. We're using the controller positive and the battery negative to make our connections. And I'm going to just tin these wires, and then I'm going to solder this sucker onto it, and then we'll just put some tape on it. We don't have to worry about touching the wires right now since we're not connected to any batteries. There's no live anything, so it should be a piece of cake. There is a thing we do need to think about though. So this is the rear brake wire. You can see on all of the Razors that I've had, it does rub against here. And that's the housing, and we haven't ridden these very far. So this is a design flaw in my opinion, because it goes in between here and it just rubs back and forth and back and forth, or up and down this way all the time, and it just wears down. So we're gonna put some tape around that and protect it. Might be worth doing. Definitely think about that. That's probably something you'll have to deal with whether or not you mod the SX500 at all. So we're just going to grab some Gorilla Tape and throw some around it. Okay, so now comes the fun part, connecting it back up. Put the bottom piece there. We're going to connect everything back up. I'm going to have 2 hands for this. Oh, don't forget to wrap these. I'm going to wrap these in electrical tape, and then we'll put everything back together. I am going to make I'm going to cut, just get some pliers, and I'm going to cut a little notch here so we can put the wire through it, because it is so short. I did mention it was fairly short, so we're going to put a little zip tie here to kind of hold this up, and then we're going to have the wire coming up here. So we'll do that. All right, everything's connected back up. It works, and here's what it looks like. So we've got this here. I zip tied this right here because I'm going to go through the top. I just cut a notch using some of these. Just cut a notch in the top. I'm just going to put some silicone on there when I'm finished with it around here, and I'll wrap this in some type of tape so it doesn't rub against here. And we're just going to put this right on the top here, right there. So we'll put that on in a minute, and then this will just slip on like so. I'll just plug that in, and then we're just going to silicone this piece on here. Doink! So I'm just going to use 100% silicone because it works pretty well for stuff like that, and just put it back together, just backwards from what we did. That's pretty much it for this mod. And to finish it off, we just threw a couple of gobs of silicone on there. Not the prettiest, but pretty functional once it dries. We just need to make sure we have full range of motion, both directions. Locked. Locked. That's perfect. We'll leave it right there, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.